Reporting on the games you love by people who love to game. The MMO Reporter Network.
You're logging into your favorite game, grinding out some gear. A couple of points added to your stats, and you have a virtual beer. Max level is pretty cool, but I'll remind you here, my friend. These games are not about the goal, it's about the journey and not the end.
You're listening to MMO Reporter, brought to you by Audible.com. Get a free audiobook download at audibletrial.com/MMO Reporter. And by Doghouse Systems. Choose your weapon with Doghouse Systems.
Don't forget about your ults you need to cherish. Each and every little character you've got, no matter what level they're at. Don't forget about your ults you need.
Hello everyone and welcome to another episode of MMO Reporter. This is episode 243. I'm Chris and I'm joined as always by the wonderful, exceptional prognosticator, Mr. at MMO Bill himself. Hello, Bill.
I predict that this is going to be a show with at least 8 new words in it.
Eight
that we're
new
just gonna,
words?
That we're going to just totally make up right off the top of my head. That's my prognostication.
Okay, what's word number one?
Prognostication made it.
Oh. Okay, there we go. And the other voice that you hear there, breaking in at the most inopportune moments, as always, the star, the international star of stage and screen, Mr. Harry Hall! Woo! Yay!
Yeah, that's just shimmy and waffies. But no.
That's 2.
There's 2.
Yeah, anyway. But hi.
Hi.
Good to be here.
It's nice to have you here. Nice to have Bill back after last week's show, and looking forward to our little bit of a break here coming up in the next few weeks. So,
so looking forward to a little break.
Yeah.
I still have some deadlines, but I'm trying to get them done today, so I have at least a couple of days of holiday of vacation this year.
Yeah.
Oh.
Now, I will say right away that Harry Hall is on a strict gag order on all things Star Wars, as that bastard has already seen the movie.
I'd like to extend that to the chat room. We love you, but you will get booted so fast if we even sniff Star Wars hints.
Yeah, especially that one moment halfway through the movie when... No, I'm not going to do that at all. Of course, I'm not.
You should have done. You should have that one point in the middle of the movie.
Drop in there, Chris. Or
I was going to say that one time in the middle of the movie, what?
Yeah,
and then gone silent. That would have been good. Good. But 2020 hindsight.
But seriously, don't be that guy who's, even if you're listening to this podcast, I'm talking to the listener, this is going to be about a week, and a lot of people have seen the movie, maybe you have seen the movie, still, don't talk about it. Please respect other people's right to the surprise of one of the greatest things ever. So, or bad thing, worst thing. I'm not saying anything about the movie. Maybe it's terrible, so not, but... Just don't talk about it.
Here's the thing. I was at work today. One of my students just blurts out walking into the classroom.
Hey, how's the weather?
I know, I'm not going to say what it was. A huge story spoiler. I was not happy with him, and he couldn't understand why it was upsetting to so many people because he didn't care. So why would anyone else care?
Well, that's society for you.
Anyway, so I was very angry with him, but there was a couple of other Star Wars fans in the class, so I made sure that I got him to stop and understand that he couldn't talk about it before they came in. So I took a bullet for those students, really.
Did you at least fail him and talk to some people to have him beaten up? Because that's justified.
He may have had issues by the bike rack after school.
If one of those issues is loss of blood, I am very happy.
Yeah. Okay, let's move on.
Okay.
We do have some non-Star Wars stuff to talk about. Surprisingly enough,
We have only non-Star Wars talk.
it's a good
stuff.
it's a good thing that we're not recording after, because all we would be doing would be gushing in vague discussions about Star Wars if this was after the movie. So anyways, we haven't even seen it yet and we're already gushing. Bill,
I have.
What have you... Yeah, shut up. You don't count. Bill, what have you been doing in games?
I saw it.
Mute button.
Anyway, I'm gonna spoiler my gameplay for the week and say that I played Guild Wars 2. Believe it or not, it happened.
Wow.
Actually, it was a unique week in that I finally did a serious fractal run. I have never run fractals seriously before. I did one fractal once, and it was fine, but it was one of those 10-minute things that I just quickly popped on, found a group, left, and
Yeah.
I didn't even know the joy that I had already experienced. But this time I actually ran 3 full fractals, which is 9 mini dungeons, and it was so fun. It was the best pug that I've had in ages. It was led by just a really awesome guy who was just picking up fractals again for the first time after leaving it off for a couple of years. He totally walked everybody through all the steps. We discovered a whole bunch of stuff together because of all the areas that he'd forgotten and stuff that they'd changed and that kind of thing. It was just fun. I like fractals. This is gonna be a thing, I think.
Awesome.
But you said, but I did some fractals recently, and they changed it. Before you had to do 3 in a row, and now you just do 1 and you're dropped out, and you have the option to drop out. Can you explain what you mean that you did a full run with 3 of them? Because that was the old system, wasn't it?
Well, they still run in series of 3. So in order for you to earn your rewards or your daily rewards, you still have to complete the series of 3. So you have to, like for example, I did the swamp one where you have to you break through and you fight the plant dude after taking care of or blowing up the blockade in the swamp. Then you bust through into the second stage of that, and you actually have to swim through crate infested waters and rescue some prisoners. And then I can't remember what the third step of that one was, but you finish the third step. That's when you actually get your daily reward.
Ah, right.
So you get a chest reward at the end, which is just your standard fractal rewards that everybody's been complaining about. And actually, I kind of agree. The rewards were a little bit underwhelming. But the daily reward is the one that pops up after you complete that third fractal.
Ah, okay.
So it's not incomplete if you only do the first section, but you don't get the full reward until you do all 3.
But it is quite fun. I agree completely. It's but the downside is has made the normal dungeon runs almost obsolete. And people are actually asking money to be in a group with you to do a dungeon now. Have you noticed that? Is that something that happens in the US side as well?
It used to be you had to pay to get into a dungeon run, especially the Gates of Ara, and now you're paying to fill out your group,
which is complete and utter nonsense. You shouldn't have to pay fake money to people to play a part of the game.
Well, and it's sad because they've got this dangling participle of a feature in the game that they're so clearly abandoning. Like it's been completely hung out to dry, and it's just the way it is. It's a major game thing. Like how many dungeons are? It's like 8 dungeons in the game or something like that, and all of them are abandoned. It's not even that they're bad; they're just completely unmaintained and very clearly, without the words officially being said, that they don't care about them and they're not going to be doing them anymore.
That makes me sad.
Yeah, me too.
A little bit, because it was a fun game mode. It is a fun game mode. That said, fractals are a decent replacement for that. I'm not trying to denigrate fractal runs, but it's a little bit unfortunate. But I mean, you got to have faith in your ArenaNet overlords that they have a grandmaster plan that they're going to be able to expand fractals more easily than they could dungeons and stuff like that. So
they'll fix it with the hype train.
Yep. Oh yeah, they'll. Load that one up in coal and send her out of the station. The other thing I did, I actually started the Winter's Day events. I did the jumping puzzle for Winter's Day. And holy cow, if you don't have enough anger in your life, if you feel like you're too passive and you let too many things slide, run that jumping puzzle, because it will get your juices flowing.
Have you finished it?
It will turn. I did, actually. I got through it. It's horrendous because it's a complicated jumping puzzle, for one thing. It's not the worst jumping puzzle in the game. That still goes to the Aetherblade thing in I think it's Gendarn Fields.
Clock Tower.
Actually, I don't even talk about the clock tower. That doesn't even count. That's not a jumping puzzle. That's just punishment.
Yeah, that is true.
That's karma coming back to you saying, here is everything you've done wrong in your life. Now fall off this cliff. No, so the Winter's Day one, it's difficult but not impossible, but it's also timed. And it's not timed in that there's a clock ticking. There is a timer ticking away. You get half an hour per instance, but it's timed in the sense that you've got a debuff, a chill debuff, where you're actually taking damage throughout the entire thing. And I'm getting there, don't worry.
Sorry,
you keep taking damage. Oh, I see what you did there. Anyway, you keep taking damage, and it's so stressful watching your health bar just slowly tick away. And I can't even count how many times that I've just missed the milestone. Like, I've literally died as I was jumping onto the milestone that would have brought my health back up. It was soul crushing.
Is it
actually? It was so frustrating. I literally almost had a tear leak out.
But do you do it in a group? So if you're basically, let's say you're in Asura and you have a Char in the same group, then your entire jump is messed up. Is that also the thing, or because that was the thing with the clock tower?
Yeah, there is other people in there. You're not grouped with them. You're actually you're competing against them, because there is a leaderboard for each half-hour division of the jumping puzzle. But as far as I can tell, you don't get anything for it, because I finished in the top 6 or something like that. I think I was 6th out of 20 people or so when I finally got the puzzle figured out and I was able to start completing it. You get 1 point every time you actually complete the puzzle, and you get rewards every time you do the puzzle. Once you've got it dialed in, it's actually not a bad way to farm a little bit of money and loot. But, well, maybe not money, but loot anyway. Anyway, it's good. Once you beat it, it's good, but holy cow, the learning experience of it is just painful.
As it should.
But I'm okay now. I'm very zen now. So zen that I'm going to toss it over to Harry. Tell us, Harry, what did you do this week?
I also played Guild Wars 2. I leveled my engineer, my alt, to 80. So I now have 2 level 80 characters, which is kind of unique for me because I never max out more than once in a game. It's just I never feel the need to, but I did feel the need to do it now because the thief is fun. But it was kind of after 2 years, I was kind of done with it, and I liked the completely different way of playing the engineer offers. And now I'm there. So I have 2 characters in Maguma, and I'm actually, I'm having fun with it. I didn't do any of the Winter's Day stuff yet. I don't think it was on when I was on yet. When did it launch, Bill? Was it?
It was Tuesday, I believe. I believe it came live with the Tuesday patch. Yeah, it was on the 15th. So yeah, Tuesday.
Okay, well, 15th was the day before the launch of Elite Horizons. Mm-hmm. So that means I had nothing on my mind except Elite Horizons, which is the other thing I played because their expansion. Well, they keep calling it a season of expansions. So that's difficult to review, a season of expansions, and I'm actually reviewing it. So I guess I have to wait a year before I have to write my article.
Hey, Harry, is it difficult though?
To wait a year to write my article?
To write a review on a season of updates.
Well, for me it isn't because I just have to wait until I've played everything.
Okay.
And it just takes some time to play some more. I'm actually quite happy with that. I must say that the launch of Horizons was extremely fun fluid and non-buggy. I've had no issues at all. I
Awesome.
know there were some bugs in the beta, and people were actually worried about the game being ready because they really went fast. The beta was was a couple of weeks, and then boom, launch. And
There's a lot of iteration in that beta, though.
yeah, but they went really fast. They really they worked through it like they actually know what they're doing. So they're not Star Citizen, and I'm actually having a lot of fun. I started exploring again, and the kind of frustrating because the thing I wanted to do was now explore, find a star system that no one has ever been to, and then land on a planet that nobody's ever discovered before. You know, one of those giant leap for. Never mind.
Yeah,
But
you're explorer mode. You're Magellan, if you will.
I wanted to be actually out there being in and it's freaking impossible. There are so many stars and planets that have already been scanned down by people. It was actually getting frustrating to see the same names pop over and over again. That I felt, am I taking the exact same route somebody else is taking? And wherever I jumped, so I think it was 300 light years out from the civilization bubble. And then I finally found a star system that was half discovered. And somebody saw a star that was a little bit out there and just said, forget about it. Another F word, actually. But I discovered it, and it had a system of planets around it. And I landed on a planet that nobody had ever been before. Ooh. And there was a little base on there. And I don't get that. It's kind of frustrating. It was an NPC run little thing with drones flying around. Like, I was here first.
Yeah, nobody's been there except for this base.
Yeah,
it's here right now.
Did it at least say like Port Harry on it or something like that to show that it was your base? They just happened to follow you there.
Well, the thing they did, no, obviously, but they do allow you to tag a discovery if you bring back your discovery data to a civilized system, and you sell you have this astronomy society in the game, and if you sell your data to them and you are the first to discover it, your name will be fixed to that star and planets for the rest of the time. And if you jump, that's how you can see if a system has already been discovered. If you go in there and you go to the system map, you can see who had the right of first discovery.
Right.
And it gives you a 50% boost in credits if you are the first to discover a star or a planet. So I think currently I made about 500,000 credits just exploring, which isn't a whole lot in the grand scheme. And also I found a way to solve my cash flow problem in Elite Dangerous, because maybe if you remember, I for the review, the people from Frontier offered me 200 million in credits to try out different chips, and me as a fool accepted this offer because I thought, oh, that would be fun. But it basically took away the game for me, because if you don't have credits as a motivator in the early game, you don't have really the need to make interesting choices for upgrade. If you can buy any upgrade, you just go for all the A versions, and you don't have to learn and discover stuff. So that was kind of frustrating. And I was this close to actually just deleting my save and starting all over again. But I didn't. I found a way to just keep that inner hoarder of me happy without ruining the game. I bought an Anaconda. And I kitted it out with everything I could afford until I was completely broke. I had 1 million credits left, and I thought, that's fair. That's something I think that's about what I've earned. Yeah. And then I parked the Anaconda, and then I just flew away in my Cobra. So it is out there, and if I get complete feelings of remorse, I could always get back there and sell it off for parts, but I won't. My credit rating is like 1 million credits, and everything that I earn is now earned, and now it feels like a game again. Maybe I'm just going to hit self-destruct on the Anaconda. I just don't care anymore, because the game is so much more. But this is the thing. This is a game that you want to enjoy. You don't want to feel like you've cheated your way to wealth. You want to have earned it. Otherwise, it has no value.
I can understand that. Totally.
Oh, it makes a huge difference. The game becomes like that. Your ship feels so much more like your own when you've had to sacrifice thrusters because you want a bigger gun or something along those lines. It's I don't want to say magical, but I'm gonna. It's magical.
Yeah, it was the moment that I started doing exploration again, and I wanted to get a better, because you have all kinds of sensor banks for exploration, and I couldn't get the top tier one because I didn't have enough money, and I was so happy. I was like, yes, there's something to work for. Am I stupid? I really think a game is more fun if you work for it. It's like I see these people on the forums going like, "How do I make more money?" Well, you just play the game. It's not about the money. It's about having fun doing the stuff you want to do. Elite is about freedom, but work for your freedom.
Yeah.
Well, and that's it. That's the game that Elite is. There's some games out there that cheating is actually. I'm not usually an advocate of cheating, but some games are out there where the story is such a driver that you almost want to get past all the other kind of speed bump mechanics in the game, and you just want to consume the story. Yeah. And I can see the justification there, but in a game like Elite, then all you're doing is cheating yourself by taking away that experience.
Yeah, and that was my main handicap, and now I'm having so much fun, and the landing systems are awesome, and it's not even that I feel the need to land on every planet I see, but just the idea that the universe just became this much bigger, and that planets are more than these pretty orbs in the sky, but actual places that have stuff. It's just, this is the Elite game that I wanted when I was a little kid, and I played Elite when I was a little kid. So that was my, and we've also mentioned that I've seen a little movie, and I'm not going to talk about that. So, Chris, what did you do?
I played some Destiny, some Sparrow Racing still, again. And I really like the game. I wish I had a bigger group of friends to play with, because I think it would, like any other game, be a lot more fun. But I'm enjoying it in spurts solo-wise. So it's a really well-built game, and the story is so much better in The Taken King than it is in sort of the base game. Played some Borderlands 2. Bought the Handsome Collection. It was on sale on PS4, and so I'm playing through Borderlands 2 again to get into the pre-sequel because a friend has it, so I want to play with him.
Pre-sequel isn't as good as the actual Borderlands 2 game, though.
No, I'm not. I'm playing it because I enjoy it enough. I wouldn't have bought it if my friend wasn't playing it, but I think I enjoy it enough that I'll have fun playing with him. So he's power leveling me a little bit. I'm following along while he does some high-level stuff, and that power leveled me about 10 levels, and then I've done about 10 more on my own, and I'll get power leveled again. Jumped in.
Fun.
Yeah.
But can you tell me a little bit about it? Because you're playing Destiny and Borderlands at the same time.
Yeah.
Do you have a feeling that you're basically playing two skins of the same game? Or
no. No, they play very different for me. I find I actually like the world of Destiny better. I find it's a little quicker of a game. And maybe that's just the way I'm approaching it. And the classes that I'm playing. I find Destiny's definitely harder. Maybe that's just because I'm not far enough in Borderlands yet, but who knows? I don't find that at all. I find that the loot part of it is similar, but again, not exactly the same.
Well, there's less of it in Destiny.
Yes. And less variety of it. You're looking for specific ones that everybody wants to get, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah.
So... yeah, so no, I don't find that. Guild Wars 2 just jumped in. I'm on my Revenant still, and you know what? I haven't been to Maguma Jungle in a couple weeks, and I'm kind of enjoying it. And I'm just playing through the old world with my Revenant.
Old world is still so much fun.
Yeah, and to me, notice the wording here, folks. To me, it's more fun than Maguma. So...
are you saying you're absolutely hating Guild Wars 2 and everything it stands for? You infidel?
And
That's what I heard.
I've also played Sword Coast Legends, playing through on hard mode on my mage.
Chris is not playing.
You're playing it wrong, noob. How can you talk about Guild Wars 2 if you don't talk about raids? Well, because I'm not doing raids. Well, it doesn't matter. Sorry.
I want to do the raids actually, but
I do. At some point, I want to do the raids, but I believe I can give my opinion of my playthrough of Maguma Jungle. All right, moving on.
Okay, yeah.
Moving along.
Let's
want to talk about our patrons? Patreon.com/MMO Go check out our Patreon campaign. If you'd like to support what we do here, we really appreciate all of our fine patrons who go over there to help us out. Patreon.com/MMO Reporter. Thank you so much, all of our fantastic patrons.
Wipe the group and never clear the rain. More than deeds is all you have to do to make the raid. Then you wouldn't be a noob and you'd pew pew, 'cause you didn't wipe the group. What would you do?
Right, we're talking about Guild Wars 2, so naturally we now have to talk about World War 2. That was a very stupid mistake.
Well,
I haven't slept much.
You see, if Chamberlain had just been a little bit stronger in his interactions with Hitler, I don't believe that there would have been a World War II.
Okay, let's maybe if his player versus player
soon, Chris.
stats
Too
were
soon.
We're trying to bring it back. I was gonna say World of Warcraft. I don't know what happened to me. This is terrible. Wow,
You got Star Wars on the brain.
I got Star Wars, yeah, and I haven't slept at all last night, so that's it. So Legion will bring some change. Legion, the new expansion World of Warcraft, will bring some changes to the PvP scene of things. I have no knowledge at all of WoW player versus player. So, Chris, could you break it down for me, please?
Sure. So I know I'm going to simplify things a little bit because we're going to talk sort of big picture things here. And I'm sure that there's some metagame that a lot of players will be yelling at their computers or their iPods or their neighbors in the next lane as they're driving their car. But we're just going to talk about the meta here.
I'm just seeing this guy driving his car, listening to you talking, and just started shouting to a random other guy in the other car who's just like...
He doesn't know what the bleep he's talking about!
And that guy's just listening to some jazz, like, what?
So some changes that are happening. In the past, you used to get honor points and you used to spend honor points. It was a currency and you would buy the PvP gear. The PvP gear, as you went up in ranks and stuff like that, would give you better bonuses. So the higher rank your gear, the more honor points you'd spent to get it, the better your gear would be, the better your stats would be, and there you go. Now they're going to change that so that honor points you're going to get now, not the currency. You're going to spend it on PvP-only specializations that boost your class abilities. That's pretty good. The other thing that's coming along with this, and we'll comment about it once we've gone over a couple things here, stat normalization. Your gear no longer contributes to stat power in PvP. Everyone gets a similar amount of stats. So you go in kind of like Guild Wars 2. It's everybody's kind of the same, and it's more about skill. However, average gear eye level, item level will contribute to your overall stat power. Each eye level will contribute 0.1% to total stats. So one particular set of gear won't be required because it gives you this much extra intelligence if you're this type of mage or something like that. It's balancing out things out a lot better, and the honor system change and the stat normalization, I think, are going to do huge wonders for the balance issues that WoW has had since launch, where it's just really a rotation of which class is OP right now. And that's what they've been doing since the launch of the game. And by removing in a little bit the PvP from the PvE, they can have everything be fine and dandy and tune everything for PvE and use these new systems for tuning things for PvP. It's still not perfect, but I think it's a good step in the right direction.
I think World of Warcraft should be very happy that Guild Wars 2 is there to show them the way. Which is actually interesting considering the industry. Everybody's doing a WoW clone. No, now everybody's just looking at Guild Wars 2, how to fix the stuff that's actually need to be fixed.
I thought about you, Harry, in the last week because you're bringing up Guild Wars 2 again. And I laughed out loud when I saw that Elder Scrolls Online had won some awards for, best game from several prominent sites. And I thought about your reaction to the game, and I actually laughed out loud about that.
Well, every game will win some awards somewhere.
Okay.
Doesn't mean that they're actually any good.
Prominent sites. Like
I will just ignore those sites from now on. What sites are we talking about?
MMORPG.
Yeah, well, come on. That's not prominent. That's okay. It exists.
All right. Okay. And then you are going to get awards of gear for PvP, and you'll get it based on your rating. Prestige level. This is kind of interesting. I saw this in some shooters. I know it was very prominent in Titanfall, where once you level to the maximum level of PvP, you get PvP levels. Once you get that up to 50, you can reset it, and you'll be able to get soft benefits every time you reset that. I don't know exactly how many times you can do that. But you'll get things like prestige badge that appears in Battleground or Arena scoreboards, title, wearable faction pendant, new artifact appearance, unique mountain pet. So you're basically getting rid of all those honor points that you spent in specializations, going back to as if you just are starting in PvP, and then starting that whole journey all over again. And every time you reset it, you'll get more of these soft bonuses.
See, I read that, and if you can correct me if I'm interpreting it completely wrong, but when the seasons are resetting, and they said that they're actually going to be resetting the seasons fairly often, that's when you're going to get this prestige reset. And that's why you're not necessarily going to be able to cycle through prestige levels over and over and over again, because it's going to be per season. Am I missing something there, or did I misread that?
That wasn't my understanding of it, because prestige levels are usually something that you choose to do. You can either stay at that top level, or you can reset to go back to that first faction level and go through again. You could do the same thing with Dragon Age Inquisition PvE stuff, like multiplayer stuff. So.
But by the way, and this is actually more important. I'm checking the Elder Scrolls Online website now, and they have a page listing their awards, and they've stopped listing them after E3, I guess, because it's all most anticipated game, best game of E3, game we most look forward to. Yeah, everybody looks forward to it. I can give you an award for that. I look forward to that. The trick, dear Elder Scrolls Online, is to have a game launch and be fun. That's the whole thing you want to get the award for.
Okay, I know that they got another
17th place in the annual MMO Reporter MMO of the Year.
Okay, so I found the bit about the Legion PvP. It's every time you hit level 50, you can reset.
Why are we still talking about PvP? I need to trash some Elder Scrolls Online.
So did you hear that, Bill? Yeah.
Every season, what? Sorry?
No, every time you hit level 50, you can cycle back to level 1. It's not tied to the seasons.
I'm wondering how what do you get then? I mean, obviously the badge could maybe title up, and maybe the title, but are they going to give you another quote-unquote unique mount that's exactly the same as the other mount that you got?
Every time you'll get at one, at prestige level 1, you'll get the badge, which will show your prestige level 1, 2, 3, 4, whatever. And then another one, you'll get a title. And then later on, you'll get the wearable and maybe once you get to the highest prestige level, then you'll get a unique mountain pet. You don't get it the minute you cycle or every time you cycle. That's not how I read it at all.
Okay. Well, we'll see.
Right? And then last but not least, 2 new arena maps. I've never arena'd in WoW. I can't even stand watching arena on Twitch. I find it probably the most boring thing to watch that I've ever watched.
Well, and that's sort of where I wanted to go with the whole stat normalization thing. That seems like a thing that you would do when your PvP is skill-based or action-based. I don't want to say skill-based because there's very skilled PvPers in WoW, but it's also a very static thing. Like it's a completely legitimate fight to have 2 guys basically standing right in front of each other and just pounding through their skill cycle. And to me, stat normalization feels like the kind of thing that should be there when action takes over and you want to determine the winner based on who moves the best, who has the best strategy, the best positioning, and everything like that. And from my WoW experience, that doesn't matter very much. It matters a little bit that if you catch somebody snoozing and you move in behind them, then all of a sudden you might get a few extra attacks in.
Watch some arena on Twitch because it's some of the coordination that they have to get and positioning is important. Yeah, it's different than arena is so much different, and it seems to be the way that PvP is going in WoW is more arena based rather than like the battlegrounds maps. The battlegrounds map, you're right, but in arena, no.
Okay.
All right, let's move things along.
I never arena'd anything.
We have talked enough WoW. We need to cleanse our palate with Harry. What are we talking about?
I've checked some other awards for Elder Scrolls Online, and I just can't. Okay, sorry. I don't think I'm the guy you're looking for. Wave hand.
This is not the co-host you're looking for.
Yeah, exactly. Bill, maybe you can take us to the next story.
I certainly can. So we're going to jump from arenas to ArenaNet and also the drama that was induced.
Stop. Harry, I'm sharing a link for you now.
Why did you stop the show?
Because there you go. I found the link.
Jeez.
Best MMO of 2015 by MMORPG.
It says Guild Wars 2 is the best MMO
expansion.
No, I'm happy where I am. I won't scroll down. I'm not going down this page. I'm in a happy place now. I'm looking at the Guild Wars 2 logo and it says best MMO next to it. This is good, Chris.
Okay, yeah, you stay there. Don't go out of your comfort zone, Harry.
Oh my God! Why did they give best MMO to Elder Scrolls Online? How much did they pay for them?
Know, we're not going there.
I'm not going. Well, I'm not leaving. I'm leaving.
Speaking of leaving, that's exactly what the folks from Zero Counterplay did in their Pro League Guild Wars 2 PvP match the other day, and that spawned a ton of forum drama and everything like that. So to paint the picture, we'll have a link to the actual Twitch feed so you can actually see it happen and listen to the commentary and everything like that. But basically what happened is a PvP match between Zero Counterplay and the other team, Final Form, had just started. It was barely a minute old, and you saw 2 guys drop out from Zero Counterplay because Final Form had captured a single point on the map, and they had accrued 50 points out of the 300 that you needed to win. So they were up 50-0, and that was the end of the game, and they just quit. Just dropped. All of a sudden, a team of 5 became a team of 3, and then the whole game wiped. And that was that. And the announcers were just stunned. So, again, a drama and everything like that. But there's a couple of key things that kind of to take away from this. The first we're going to touch on because we're going to actually introduce a little criticism to Guild Wars 2 here. So, Chris, you're still not right. Chris, you're still not right, but bear with us. What a lot of the threads kind of around this issue are, there's a lot of people that are actually very sympathetic towards Zero Counterplay in this issue, in that apparently the meta game at the elite level PvP in Guild Wars 2 is such that when I say the meta game, it's basically the style that most teams are playing is a very hyper defensive style. So the balance point for most classes are that it's you can get a combination of classes that basically makes it very, very difficult to knock you off of a capture point. So once you have one, it's really difficult to take it back and win. Now, it's not impossible, but in this particular case, there was actually a fairly big skill disparity between Zero Counterplay and Final Form. Zero Counterplay hadn't won a game yet this season. Final Form had won a ton, and that's what happened here. But it's kind of opening the door up to that. That Guild Wars 2 kind of made a big deal about creating basically their own pro league around their PvP, and the game can actually be, and games can actually be legitimately decided right at the very beginning, like within the first minute, within the first capture of any of the 3 points at the start of the game could essentially be over. So what do you think, guys? Is this all skill disparity here, or is it is this something that ArenaNet needs to seriously look at, or what do you think?
If this is if at the highest level, if people find this to be broken, then I think it is broken, and they just need to rebalance it. PvP should be an equal back and forth, and a skilled team should be able to grasp victory at the last moment if they are skilled enough by changing tactics or doing whatever. If that's just not the thing, if a game is decided in the first 2 minutes, there's something wrong with the game.
Mm-hmm. And I think what's winding up happening between teams that are very closely matched is that it's not so much that there's big comebacks or there's a change in the meta. It's basically like a slow competition. It's basically it's like a football match where only one goal is scored, but you still have to play the full 60 minutes because it's technically possible that somebody could score another goal.
Hold on. I sent some criticism to actual European football here. You can have a game in European football. I say European because a lot of US people are listening, but our type of football can have nobody scoring and still have an exciting match because there is so much happening on, and it's still a valid thing. If you have a 0-0 game, it can still mean a lot for the competition, and if you are into the game and you understand what's happening on the field, it's still a very valuable experience to watch. That's a different thing than a game that can be that you can keep 1 point to 0 in the first minute, and then nothing else will happen for 90 minutes. And I think that's kind of what's happening here. It's just a different discussion.
I think there's 2 points to look at this too. First, the skill disparity between the teams was a big player in this. That a more a higher skilled team, for lack of a better term, may have had the ability to be able to have more of a fighting chance, even if they'd lost the point. But I think Zero Counterplay was outmatched, unfortunately. The other thing that I think is a big issue here is the disconnecting, the DCing once you've done that. Part of having esports is having entertainment. And this is meant to be entertainment. That's why they have esports. That's why they're calling it esports, right? It's meant to be entertaining. And if you're going to lose, fine. Make it a damn fine loss then. And you fight your ass off the whole time. Try and do your best. Whether you win or not, doesn't matter. If you fight, great. But DQing like this, and it's not, I've heard the argument, this is like, calling a wipe on a raid boss. It's not, because you call a wipe on a raid boss so you can quickly reset and do it again. That's not the same as PvP.
Well,
I agree, yeah.
The flip side of that, though, is that, this is not a new thing, like rage quitting and quitting and knowing when you're beat and that kind of thing is not new to Guild Wars 2 or anything like that. There's tons of esports, League of Legends, Heroes of the Storm, all that kind of thing. This is a similar thing that can happen. However, the convention is that if you know that your team is in a situation where you just can't win anymore, and there's plenty of, like, not even esports, even regular sports, where you concede when it's not mathematically possible to win anymore, or it's just so insurmountable that there's nothing you can do. Concession happens, but it's all in how you do it, and the sportsmanship part of that is critical. Like what if zero counterplay was in full on sportsmanship mode, they would have said, you know what, good game, and ended the match there, because the mods can then end the match. They can give it to final form, and it saves everybody the time to have from watching a kind of a doomed match or a match that doesn't have a chance anymore. If we're willing to concede that it was impossible to win at that point, which I don't know that I am willing to, but let's just for the sake of argument say that's the case, then that is a fair thing to do. That's a fair thing to the viewers. It's a fair thing to the other team. It's a fair thing to ArenaNet too, because then they don't have to broadcast quote unquote bad matches.
But imagine a game, a football game, any type of football game. One team scores and the other just walks off the field.
Well, that's sort of what happens, actually.
Yeah.
If you get an American football game and you're back, it's almost a little bit like a reverse concession. But if a team can actually just run out the clock without even playing if they know that they've got the game done. All they do is they take the ball, they put their knee down, and they let 45 seconds run off the clock, and they do that 4 times. The game's over. So that
at the end of the game, right? Not
exactly.
At the beginning, because you still have 4 quarters to fill.
No, sure.
But this if you take the beginning of the game still.
Yeah, exactly.
No, there's no direct analogy that I can think of in sports that's like in like a baseball game that you give up in the first inning. That can't.
That's what they did.
That's essentially what happened here, but it's not like they gave up either. It's not that they just went out and shook hands and went home. It's like they at the end of the first inning, they just threw their bats in the field and drove home.
What a bunch of asses! The more I talk, this is the interesting thing. I hadn't even heard of this story. I had no opinion about it, but now I hate them.
Now you're angry.
Now I'm angry.
Now you're ready to do that jumping puzzle in Winterstead.
Yes.
The last little point to make, and this is a consistent point that I've seen on Reddit and the forums and everywhere else, is that I have not seen a single positive post about the software that ESL is using to make sure that there's no cheating. It is being absolute murder on everyone's pings as they try to do this, and it's not pleasant for anyone involved. But the other thing is it's not equally affecting everyone. So,
but it's not consistently hurting the same people over and over either. Like it's inconsistently bad. It's basically like playing football in bad weather. It might affect one team more than the other if the wind is blowing particularly hard at a particular moment. But ultimately, they're still playing in the same circumstances.
I'm starting to lose interest so fast now.
All right, we'll move along. All right, anyway. We'll move along. Let's talk about our sponsors real quick. Audible, go to audiblepodcast.com/MMO Reporter to get your audiobook fix, which you should do over the holidays. I know many of you have a lot of driving to do. This is the perfect way for you to get set up with an audiobook. You just go to audiblepodcast.com/MMO Reporter. You get signed up for a subscription plan that they have, and you'll get a free month. Your first month will be free. You can cancel after you sign up. You can get yourself that Harry Potter book. They've added the Harry Potter series now to Audible, and you can have it for your drive to your family wherever you're going. And I know, I'm sure there's time for post-Christmas gifts here. Go to doghousesystems.com. Use the coupon code MMO Reporter when you buy your loved one a new Doghouse Systems computer. And if you use the coupon code MMO Reporter, you'll add a 120 gig SSD to their purchase absolutely free. Ways to die, so many dumb ways to die. Shaking hand with the Nazgul's rough. Killing trolls, they're not so tough. Turtle raids kill all, radiants or not. Horses run you into a fence, ready or not. Dumb ways to die, so many dumb ways to die. All right, we've got some news coming out of Motiga. They are the developers of Gigantic, a new shooter MOBA that is coming out, was supposed to come out in 2015, but got pushed back to 2016. They've also recently announced some layoffs of some staff over at their studios. The lead designer, I believe it was, has announced some news about what the roadmap is for the game coming up in 2016. Talking about what they're planning to do, they are planning to launch in 2016. There's some significant changes that they're making to overhaul. They're ready to release the metagame now, like character or player progression and stuff like that. A couple more maps are going to come out in the next few months, as well as a new hero. So they put out just a quick message here with all sorts of stuff that they're working on. I've got a little bit of a soft spot for Gigantic. I think it's right up there for me with Heroes of the Storm as one of my most fun MOBAs. I find that I suck the least in this, and I enjoy it the most even when I do suck. So it's a pretty cool game, and it's got a little bit of a different approach by having you have these guardians that attack each other, big ginormous beasts and stuff like that. So a whole bunch of new stuff coming out from Gigantic hopefully soon. Did you get a chance to play it at PAX at all, Bill?
Not even once. I watched a couple matches and it looked okay. It looked very much like every other
arena-based
first-person MOBA. Yeah. It didn't blow me away, but it didn't disgust me either. How about that?
And did we went to their party. You got to try it, didn't you, Harry?
Yeah, and I watched you play it a lot, and it didn't click the way it did for you. I mean,
well, obviously you're doing it wrong. That's how we do this, right?
The thing is, I was
you don't
actually
like something I like, and I just say you're doing it wrong.
The thing that I was thinking was, I'm not going to attack Chris on enjoying this game because it's obviously not my thing, but it is his.
Okay.
But thank you for taking that cheap shot. I don't know why I deserve this.
You're doing it wrong.
I've never ever made remarks like that.
Have you tried playing the game well? No. Okay.
This is hurtful. It's hurtful. This is just.
Well, that's what happens when you say things like you do, you hurtful bastard. Okay.
You know what movie I saw?
I think you need.
Yeah,
to
you're dealing with a loaded gun here, Chris. Be careful, please.
I think you need to mention this first wonderful. I love the title you picked for this first quick mention, Bill. Delicious Schadenfreude.
It's succulent. The delicious Schadenfreude. So. Who here knows who Martin Shkreli is?
I
do actually. Yeah, yes. I do too. Yeah.
Okay. For those of you out on the internet who don't know, and I'd be surprised if there are many of you, he is the kind philanthropist who leads the pharmaceutical company Turing, who, upon purchasing the intellectual rights to a certain toxoplasmosis pill used in AIDS treatment, decided to bump the price of that pill from roughly $13.50 a pill, which actually it seems a little bit expensive when you think about it, to $750 a pill, which for those of you who are a little slow on math is about 5,000% increase.
For something that saves somebody's life, right? We're talking about life-saving drugs here.
Right.
We're not talking about the pleasure pill.
Talking about money here, right? So anyway, this isn't a pharmaceutical podcast. So anyway, just know that this
apparently
guy
it's a sports podcast.
This guy has lots of credentials for being a grade A asshole. So it might not surprise you to know that he's also a team owner for a professional League of Legends team called Imagine. So who would have believed that one of the world's greatest assholes plays League of Legends? Shock of all shocks, right? So
wait, hold on. Are you saying that this is inherent for a League of Legends player to be an asshole? I'm fine with that. I just wanted to make sure that that's what you're saying.
I'm saying if you took a representative sample of League of Legends players and you hunted for assholes, you wouldn't have to hunt very far. Anyway,
isn't that cool?
Anyway, sorry.
Send your hate mail to bill@mmoreporter.com.
You know what? And you know, we're probably going to get an email from the nice League of Legends player. So thank you for sending that in advance.
The great thing about League of Legends players is they can't spell anyway, so they won't be able to type your email address without making a mistake. Yeah, I said it.
Okay, so we're setting the stage here. So we've got an asshole who plays League of Legends. So lots of reasons to already not like him. Justice has been served. The FBI has actually arrested him for shady hedge fund activities, completely separate from his pharmaceutical company, completely separate from his presumed League of Legends assholery. He's been arrested for a completely new level of assholery that just happens to be very illegal. So enjoy jail, Martin Shkreli. I don't think anyone's going to feel very bad for you.
I just love the way you build this up. Okay, here we have this guy who's actually trying to wring every last drop of money out of poor sick people. But that's not the worst part. The worst part is he's a League of Legends player.
No, that was me just trying to tie it a little bit into our podcast.
Burying the lead. Bury the lead.
Yeah.
All right.
Anyway, there you go. Enjoy that. Just enjoy the taste of that for a while.
I do not want to have the taste of a guy going to. Never mind.
Hey, Bill, we talked about RuneScape way back in 2012. Do you remember that robbery that happened where somebody used a fake gun and got someone to a few players to transfer in-game money to his account?
Mm-hmm. That was one of the most brilliant crimes of our century, I'm pretty sure.
Yes, it was. Right up there with the stealing of the Wu-Tang Clan album from Martin Shkreli, or whatever his name is, by Bill Murray. It is in the contract, the contract of sale. I don't know if you knew this, but in the contract of sale from Wu-Tang Clan for their one album for $2 million that he purchased, there is a clause that they can attempt once a heist or robbery with the members of the Wu-Tang Clan and Bill Murray. They are allowed, as part of the contract, one heist or caper. Sorry, heist or caper.
Are you making this up?
I am not even a little bit. You Google that stuff, and you find that it is absolutely true. It is in the contract of sale that they may attempt one caper or heist. That is the language you're Googling right now, aren't you?
Yeah, I am.
It is so good. It's true. They need to strike now. Go Team Bill Murray. Go.
Oh,
anyways.
I've actually found it.
Yeah, I know.
Said heist or caper can only be undertaken by currently active members of the Wu-Tang Clan and or actor Bill Murray with no legal repercussions. I love these guys.
Right?
I mean, if you are a member of Wu-Tang Clan and or actor Bill Murray.
Oh man, I laughed so much when I found it. But anyways, back to the RuneScape story. He's been found guilty. He'll serve 6 months in jail, 3,000 hours of community service, and returns the $3,300 back to the victims. That was the dollar value of the goods stolen.
I'm so happy. This makes me.
I know, right?
This is a movie that has to be made.
I know.
By the way, did you
a mockumentary?
Somebody's actually enlisting, but this could be something like oh my god, I want to see that movie.
And the beautiful thing is, because it's gonna be a completely indie, low budget production, Bill Murray will probably be in it.
Yeah.
Have you seen? I haven't seen it yet, but have you seen A Very Merry Christmas on Netflix yet?
No.
I'm actually popping up on me.
Yeah, I want to see it, but it's like 16 degrees centigrade out here, so I'm not in a Christmas kind of vibe right now.
It snowed today.
It did. Well, Canada.
It's actually
a little bit
snowing right now as we speak.
Oh, you lucky bastards!
Yeah.
I was locked out of my house yesterday because I forgot my key and my girlfriend wasn't home for another 30 minutes, so I had to stay outside. And in the evening, it was 16 degrees. It was quite pleasant. I had an internet connection. So December. I mean, come on.
Okay. Last story.
Hang on. Where's the bit that we're supposed to feel sorry for you? Because maybe I can think about how sorry we feel for you while I'm shoveling my driveway at 6:00 tomorrow morning, so I could get to work.
You don't need to shovel your driveway. You and your new truck.
Well, you have
Drive
your
over
truck,
that
right?
stuff.
My wife has to get to work.
She
It's
can
a
go in your
good-looking truck.
real tracks.
We are not. We are. We. The great
sorry.
thing about this show is we're not going on any tangents
Don't
whatsoever.
you live in the
we're
country?
laser focused.
Can't you just put a plow on the front of your truck and just drive up and down the driveway a few times?
No deviation, just dedication to the stories we're here to tell.
Last live show of the year, folks. Last live show of the year.
Yeah, we shouldn't have opened the eggnog. This
Last story, please. Gosh, let me do the last story. I'll be quick. Funcom has announced a new relationship with the Conan estate, where they will be not Conan O'Brien, Conan the Barbarian.
Conan
They're
doesn't
going
have
to
an
be
estate
the
yet. He's
representatives
alive.
and game makers for Conan games. They're going to be releasing a new RPG. We've got the press release in the show notes. Enjoy.
Well,
Bill?
we don't know anything. We just know they're going to do a new Conan game, and we also know that the guys from the community team had to community. Well, the people behind the
That's
forums
3.
from Conan, they actually had to jump in and say, "No, we're not shuttering Conan O'Brien." I'm going to say, Age of Conan. Damn it, you. They're not actually gonna close Age of Conan. It apparently is still running. I had no idea that it was actually still running. There are so many games that apparently are still running. I found out Dark Age of Camelot is still running.
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah, but who knew?
I know, right?
you know-
Actually, once a year they actually open it up to people. Everyone who's ever had a subscription can actually log in and play it in its current form. And I did that. Oh, geez, when it was earlier in the year, and all I did was like ride around in my boat because nostalgia.
Yeah, but they still ask for a subscription for Dark Age.
That blows my mind. I have no idea how they have the gall to do that, but. Good for them, I guess, if it works. But no, this is interesting. The Conan story here. You mentioned that it's an RPG. I can't find anything in here that says an RPG. Like for all we know, this could be a racing game. For all we know,
I'd love to see that.
Super Conan Brothers or something like that, or
get to the chopper.
Yeah,
There has to be something with Arnold in there. I need to see more before we can actually. No, that's not true. We don't need to know anything to fill another 10 minutes on this.
we could just speculate on what kind of game it is.
If people want to get a hold of us, how can they do that?
It could be a deck building game.
It could be a new Star Wars game, a crossover.
Oh yeah, Conan with lightsabers. I could see that.
I would play that.
I would. I think there's a lot of people that would.
I would actually want to see the movie based on that.
Yeah. Oh man, we should make Crossover Reporter where we can just mash two things together that don't belong together, and then gush over it. This is brilliant, Chris. Write this down.
This is gold. This is audio gold.
He's sad.
You can find us on MMOReporter.com. If you want to get in touch with us, you can email us.
The orchestra's playing us off here.
MMO.reporter@gmail.com. We have a Facebook page, www.facebook.com/MMOReporter. Yes, I did the www. It's 1999, damn it. You can tweet us at MMO_reporter or at Harry Hole or at MMO Bill. We have a YouTube channel, which you can find at youtube.com/MMO Reporter Network. Patreon, send us some money and we will send you some podcasts. Patreon.com/MMO Reporter. And any other kind of support you can offer at MMOReporter.com/support. We have a voicemail number. Nobody ever calls it. I dare you, I double dare you to call this number now and make a contribution to our podcast. The number is 616-666-6778. That number again, 616-666-6778. Call that number now.
And that, everybody, is my Harry Hall impression.
That was good, Bill. That was really good.
I've been working on it.
Yeah. Does anybody recognize the reference here? Anybody?
No, but
Anybody?
I like the song.
Do you know the group? Do you? Any chance? No?
No.
Here it comes. You'll know why the reference is coming up. Here it is. Ready? Here it goes. That's why. Because what did you say?
Conan?
www.
Yeah, I know.
All right, we're done.
That was
Thanks, Harry. That was fantastic to record with you again, as always.
It was an interesting experience once again.
Bill, your Harry Hall impression is astounding and wonderful.
You know what? And it's going to be even better next year.
There you go. And thanks to all of you for coming out and listening to the podcast, watching the video, however you partake in enjoying this podcast. We really appreciate the fact that you do. We hope that you enjoy next week's show as well, however you choose to do so. We wish you a very, very happy holiday season. Hope that you enjoy the shows that we put out then as well. But most importantly, we hope to see you in game.
About your ults you need to cherish each and every little character you've got, no matter what level they're at. Don't forget about your ults you need to cherish each and every little character you've got, no matter what level they're at.
Thanks for watching the video, everybody. Don't forget to check out all the other podcasts at MMOReporter.com or by clicking on any of the links here. And please check out our Patreon campaign at patreon.com/MMOReporter. Thanks, everyone, and see you in game.